The spoon proves mightier than the bars at supposedly escape-proof Alcatraz prison. 3 bank robbers serving long terms scratched their way through grills covering an air vent, climbed a drainage pipe, and disappeared from the forbidding rock in San Francisco Bay. It appears to be the first successful escape in the history of the maximum security prison.
Alcatraz is supposed to be the prison nobody escaped. The cold stone warning in the middle of San Francisco Bay, where America sent men it wanted the world to forget. But in June of 1962, Frank Morris and brothers John and Clarence Anglin turned that legend into one of the strangest mysteries in criminal history. They carved through walls with crude tools, fooled guards with fake heads, climbed through the guts of the prison, and vanished into the dark water on a raft made from stolen raincoats. Officially, they most likely drowned. Unofficially, the case has never stopped breathing. Before we start, drop a comment below. Tell us what you think happened. Did they die in the bay? Or did 3 of America's most famous fugitives actually pull off the impossible? Today, we're looking at what happened to the 3 men who escaped Alcatraz. The Rock. Alcatraz wasn't built on charm. It sat in the bay like a threat, surrounded by freezing water, hard currents, and a reputation that did half the guarding before the guards even showed up. By the time Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers arrived, Alcatraz was already famous for holding men who caused problems everywhere else. Morris had a long criminal record and a history of escape attempts. John and Clarence Anglin were bank robbers from a poor Georgia family, and they had also shown a talent for getting out of places that were supposed to hold them. That's why Alcatraz made sense for them. The prison was meant for men who would not stay put. It had strict routines, frequent counts, guard towers, iron bars, and the natural barrier of San Francisco Bay around them. The plan.
The men the walls couldn't hold are Frank Morris and John and Clarence Anglin. Authorities believe that Morris, who has a superior IQ, masterminded the escape. Ironically, the wanted posters offer only the nominal reward of $50 each for information leading to the arrest of the prisoners.
Morris, John Anglin, Clarence Anglin, and another inmate named Alan West began working on the escape for months. They were laughably simple, including sharpened spoons and a homemade drill powered by a stolen vacuum cleaner motor. Behind the cells was an unguarded utility corridor. Once they made the holes large enough, they could slip into that hidden space, climb upward, and reach a workshop area above the cell block. That hidden workshop became the heart of the operation. There they built paddles, life preservers, and a raft made from more than 50 raincoats. They stitched and sealed the rubber with heat from prison pipes. The strangest part was the most clever. They made fake heads out of plaster, paint, and real hair from the prison barber shop. In a dim cell at night, the heads looked just real enough to fool a guard walking past. The night.
Using stolen spoons, dummy heads made out of paper mache, and a raincoat raft, they burrowed their way to freedom on a chilly, rainy night.
On the evening of June 11th, 1962, the plan was ready. Morris and the Anglin brothers placed the dummy heads in their beds, slipped through the holes, and moved into the hidden corridor. Alan West was supposed to go with them, but his vent would not come loose in time. By the time he finally made progress, the others were gone. He turned back, and that decision may have saved his life, or it may have cost him his freedom. The 3 escapees climbed up through the prison's interior, reached the roof, and made their way down towards the outside of the cell house. From there, they crossed barriers and moved towards the northeast shore. Then came the most dangerous part. They inflated their homemade raft and pushed it into the water. The plan, according to West, was to reach Angel Island, steal clothing and a car, and disappear. By morning, the beds looked occupied until a guard reached in and one of those heads came loose. Alcatraz went into lockdown, and the search began. The search.
What?
The response was huge. Boats searched the bay. A helicopter joined in. Soldiers and military police combed Angel Island. Authorities also checked the prison itself in case the men had never left. Soon, pieces of the escape started washing up. Searchers found parts of paddles, rubber material, a homemade life vest, and sealed packets containing personal items connected to the Anglins. That evidence helped officials argue the escape had failed. If the raft broke apart, the cold water and rough currents could have killed the men quickly. Their bodies may have been swept out toward the Pacific. But the case was never quite that clean. No bodies were found. No raft was recovered in a way that fully closed the mystery. And no clear trail appeared on land either. Nothing firm emerged. After years of searching, the FBI closed its case in 1979, saying the men were presumed dead. The rumors.
If they lived and made it through the escape, they probably would have had to gone to another country because all of them were generally repeat offenders. So they would have reoffended at some point and been fingerprinted, and we would have identified them at some point. But if they were in a foreign country, that would not have happened. So possibly South America, Central America.
The mystery survived because the empty spaces were too large. A San Francisco police officer reported seeing a strange white boat in the bay that night. A postcard soon arrived claiming, "Ha ha, we made it," though investigators treated it like a likely hoax. Family stories added more fuel. Relatives of the Anglins said strange cards, calls, and flowers arrived over the years. Some believed the brothers had survived and quietly reached out without revealing where they were. Later came the famous Brazil claim. A photo surfaced that family members believed showed John and Clarence Anglin alive in Brazil in the 70s. Authorities said it couldn't be verified.
But now, a letter obtained by CBS affiliate KPIX claims all three lived well into old age. "My name is John Anglin," the letter begins. "I escaped from Alcatraz in June 1962. Yes, we all made it that night, but barely."
Then in 2013, a letter arrived claiming to be from John Anglin. The writer said all three men had survived the escape, though Frank Morris and Clarence Anglin had since died. He said he had cancer and wanted a deal for medical care and a short sentence. Tests on the letter were inconclusive. The escaped famous still has no final answer. Now it's time to hear from you. Do you think Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers died in the freezing water, or did they make it to shore and live the rest of their lives under new names? Let us know in the comments section below.